So if you're just starting out with card magic like I am, you might think that once the deck is shuffled, every card's going to behave the same way. But here's the magician's truth. With a little sleight of hand and timing, you can make half the deck flip upside down while the rest of it stays perfectly normal. And this happens right underneath somebody's nose. And the effect is called the Topsy Turvy Cards trick. And it's a beginner-friendly miracle that looks like real magic. And why does this matter? Because it's going to teach you timing, rhythm, and control while giving you a strong visual effect that you can perform anywhere. So here's the plan. I'll show you the full performance, and then we're going to break down the method step by step. We're going to answer some common beginner questions, and we're going to end with a practice routine so that you can perform this confidently. So let me show you how this trick is actually really done. You're going to borrow a deck of cards from somebody, one of your friends or somebody in the room here, and you're going to take it out of the box, you're going to look through, and you're going to basically say, hey, this looks like a normal everyday type of deck, does it not? And let's flip this over here once, and I'll show you the face side so that way you see that all the different cards are in a different order here. Okay, we're going to square the deck up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take let's say roughly half the deck here, and this is your face up side of the deck, and I'm going to put that on the back of my hand here. Okay, I'm going to take the other part of the deck that is, if we can get these in balance, we're going to take the other part of the deck here that is face down. We're going to put it on top of the cards here. So you have one side that's facing one way. You have one side that's facing the other way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card from somewhere near the bottom. So that's one of their face-up cards that's on the bottom here. We're going to put it on the top of the deck. And I'm going to do some kind of special word and a finger snap and maybe a finger tap to the deck. And what happens is we take that one deck that was half facing one way, half facing the other way, and we actually make it so it's all facing one way. So this is a pretty trainable deck, and I think this is a deck that we can use. Okay, so that's kind of the little performance that we have of the Topsy Turvy card trick. Okay, let's show you how this is done now. We're going to start in dealer script here, our action mechanic script, because I have my pinky in the back side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to first spread the deck. So I'll leave a link in the top corner there that shows you how to spread the deck with my video. So we're just going to spread the back of the cards, show the back of the cards, and you have your little spiel in that, your patter that you're going to talk to the audience about. We're going to take the cards now using that same grip as what we learned in the last video with that one-handed broad fan, which is, remember this grip right here. So we're going to take this grip here and we're just going to flip the cards so it's face up. Again, we're going to spread the cards, bring it together, except this time when I bring it together, I'm going to slide that bottom card off. And you can see it probably from the top here a little bit, as well from the side camera. So we're going to come in again, we're going to spread the cards, and when I push it together, I'm letting that bottom card, that 10 of hearts, fall off here. Okay, and we're going to put it so it's about an inch from the back of the deck here. So one last time, we're going to come in, we're going to spread it, and here's our 10 of hearts. Now all we're going to do is we're going to close or square the deck up like we normally would, but we're going to let that back card fall off here. Okay, from here, it's important that you don't let the cards flash from the bottom so they don't see that. And I have my finger crossed to make it hide even more so that we can't see it from there. But once we get to this next part, it's important that you keep this deck flat or forward so they don't see the bottom of the deck. Okay, from here what we're going to do is, again, we're going to take the grip, the same grip as what we were doing before, and we're going to take all 4 fingers now. We're just going to put it on the back of the deck, take our thumb right here, and all we're going to do is we're going to pull it and flip it. Okay, and I'll do this again. So we're just going to come in, the card in the back here is about an inch off, and if you have it tilted slightly down, they should not see that card sticking off the back there. Okay, So, and then the other thing you can do is also make sure you look at the audience when you're doing the turning of the cards here. So that way what happens is you don't have that focus down on the cards. Now you can put your focus on the cards by looking down. I'm going to grab just a portion of the deck, a third to a half of the deck here. And we're going to do that classic one-handed fan. So we're going to come in and spread. Okay. Now this is where the diversion or the trick actually comes in, because I'm going to take my cards here, okay, and I'm going to flip my hand as I point to the cards and say that these cards are going to be facing one way. Okay. So we're going to take them and we're going to put them on the back of our hand, and that's where the magic happens. We flipped from our deck there to our deck here, because it's just one card that is on the back of the deck here. We'll put the deck on top of our hand, balancing. And again, right now it's going to be important that you keep that deck flat or down towards you a little bit so you don't flash it. And the hard part here now, especially with the new deck, is getting those cards to balance here. And you can use that as a ploy, you know. So we are right here. Remember, our one card is on the bottom facing one way, all the rest of them are facing down. So I come from here, because the deck is square, I come from here, I grab the cards, and I do the fan, and as I do the fan, I point down, or at the cards there. And we're going to take them, we're going to put them on the back of our hand here. We're going to get them to balance. We'll take the deck here, and we're going to put down. Now the big thing here is make sure that it's not, you're not flashing at bottom. You take it from here and you keep it down and keep it here. The other part you don't want to flash is, you don't want to flash this portion right here. You want to make sure that you think everybody thinks it's facing one direction, half of the deck. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to switch from this grip now to this grip. And all we're going to do is we're just going to middle finger, thumb, index to rotate. Okay. And we're actually rotating this 3 times. So if we start right here, it's going to be look at once, half the cards are faced this way, do it again, half the cards are facing this way, and this is going to set up for the deck as you look at the audience and you're going to say, I'm going to take a card from near the bottom here, and I'm going to, oops, again, I'm going to take a card from near the bottom here. So let's say it's the 10 of hearts that are let's face up. We're going to put it face down here on top of the deck. And I'm going to put the cards on the table, and we're going to do some kind of magic thump or clipping or snapping of the fingers. And we're going to turn the cards from half one way to all of them facing downwards. Okay, so hopefully that's a good explanation of this video. You know, the big questions you might have is, how do I make that turnover look natural? So what you can do is you're going to, when you bring the cards into that fan, you're going to be looking at that deck the whole time. And as you spread it, you can either start turning your hand here, or I find it's kind of an abrupt type thing. So what I'll do is I'll be here, I'll come in, and I'll actually take my hand and I'll point towards it. So that way, and I don't have the card flipped right now, but that way you're seeing that the card was flipped here and it's also flipped there. And that smooth motion should be enough to get your focus off your hand flipping over. And the focus is all on that fan flourish. Okay. So that's also why, you know, you need that misdirection to get the focus off the hand flipping. And you might ask yourself, you know, why does this get such a strong reaction? Well, the people's brain is thinking that you're going to do something with this deck here. They're not worried about this deck here. You know, so if you're coming from here, you're just going to point in 1, 2. It's a very natural motion, and the magic's done already. You know, at this point. And this is just kind of a balancing act, kind of a flourish, if you will, for the audience. The last question you might ask is if you can use this as a walk around magic trick. And yes, it works instantly. It works really well for either standing or seated. And the cool thing is that this trick resets itself immediately. So, you know, if you want to go right onto a different trick, you can do it right from here because you're writing the cards, you know, you're making them all one way. It also resets, so let's say you're walking around to different tables in a restaurant, whatever, you'll be ready to go for your next trick right away. So a practice routine here is going to be practice squaring the deck, you know, 10 times without flashing. So you're going to come in, spread them out, and you're going to square that deck. You can do it that way, you know, face down 10 times, and we've already done a lot of this. You're going to be doing, you know, 10 times each step, so flipping 10 times on your spreading of the deck, okay? And coming in and dropping that bottom card off without making it too obvious, okay? Squaring the deck up. Coming in, squaring the deck, and dropping that bottom card off. Okay, so 10 times of that. And then you're gonna practice, you know, 10 times with that one-handed fan. So you come in and one-handed fan, okay? And you just break this down step by step, and then coming in and practicing that balancing part, which I found to be one of the hardest parts, is balancing those cards. You know, so coming in, working on the fan, pointing to get the cards to flip, and then working on your balancing portion of it. And the whole thing is mind your cards. Make sure you're not flashing those cards, okay? And then the last thing you want to do is work on your scripting, work on getting that stuff down and practicing that so that way you can make it all one smooth performance. Remember, I just learned this 7 days ago, so I'm still a little rusty, but over time, and as I practice this every day, it's going to get smoother and smoother and smoother. Click over here to the right, and that'll follow my card magic journey from start till finish, and it'll show you how to combine this trick with other flourishes, like the one-handed fan that we just got done doing in the last video. My name is Joe, and this is my card magic journey. Let's make it yours too.